just had a little bit of an internet hiccup there, and it took my stream offline. But it should be okay now. Hello? We good? Don't panic. No panicking. Alright, we're back. Thank you for hanging in there. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Weird. I finally got something right and the stream crashed. I agree with Grimora on this one. You get a lot of things right. You get a lot of things right, but I feel like one of your next breakthroughs in your mental health is realizing that you might be wrong about yourself in some ways. You can be a little bit self-defeating, you can be a little bit self-limiting, and I feel like you need to adopt a friendlier perspective when talking about you. An underrated part of your healing journey is recognizing that there are some things about you that you're just flat out wrong about. I would not treat anyone the way I treat myself. Well, then cut it out. You, as much as anyone else in the entire universe, are deserving of your own love and affection. I have to repin my question link. It got unpinned. Also, you gotta remember that in being nice to yourself, you are also setting a standard for other people and how they treat you. If you treat yourself poorly, you are inviting others to treat you poorly as well. People have a tendency to treat people based on how they treat themselves. They might not do it consciously. It might be something that they just do without thinking about it, but it does set the standard for how you are treated by other people, how you treat yourself. All right, let me start over with this question since we had that interruption. When I fall in love, I change for the worse. I become really awkward and self-conscious. I suddenly lose the ability to make jokes and connect with the other person. I try to talk and everything, but I become this boring vessel and I don't know what to do to fix this. Thinking about it makes things worse, and when I don't think about it and try to be good, I end up being really fake and pushing them away. I need help. I want to love and be loved. You gotta start by loving yourself. All right? Now, loving yourself does not always mean liking yourself. Loving yourself and liking yourself are two entirely different things. You may not like the person that you are right now, but you love yourself enough to do something about it, to do the work to change it so that you can start liking yourself more. I think in doing this introspection and this self-reflection and just taking an inventory of yourself is what's going to allow you to show and communicate love to other people in a more genuine way. When we can genuinely love ourselves, it makes it much easier to genuinely love other people. And so I would say that's where we should get started. We should start on our own love. We should do that work we need to do in the privacy of our own heart. So I would encourage you to think about it. You know, what can I do to communicate love to myself? What can I do to, do I need to take some time for some self-care? Do I need to take some time to maybe work on myself or my communication? What is it that I need to do to like this vessel that I inhabit? Self-love is essential. Self-love is non-negotiable. Don't underestimate the power of an Epsom salt candlelight bath. That's one of my tried and true techniques. You really want to take it to another level, play some meditation music in the background. You get in the bath, you got it smelling good, you got the candle going, it's very relaxing. But then you got like this music in the background and you're just like, you start levitating. Right, so I gotta deep clean my tub. It's magic eraser time. Magic eraser time. Ugh, I feel silly even typing this out, but what the heck. Kind fellow I've gotten to know at my home AA group made a weird comment as I was leaving. We were talking and he asked, "You never did this before?" And he has asked this before and I confirmed yes. He commented that it's really unusual for people to get it the first time. Alright, I think that they meant this as a compliment. And I know that it might not have been interpreted as a compliment and it might not have been very well communicated, but I believe that they were trying to say, wow, this is your first time? Because this person has probably been in it for a long time and they've seen a lot of new people come in and just be ambivalent, or they've seen people just wash out. They've seen it hundreds of times probably, but you are exceptional, and they are trying to recognize it. Because this is true. This is true. Most people, it takes several attempts to really make it in recovery. So I don't think that they meant it in any insulting way. I think that they meant it as they were trying to say, based on what they've seen, based on what they've experienced, they see that you're doing a good job. This bothered me for two reasons. Number one, I have 5 months and 3 days, so why are we acting like I have 20 years? Because 5 months and 3 days is still incredible. 5 months and 3 days is awesome. You're 5 months and 3 days away from zero. Number two, this comment can cause me to go out and had me spiraling back to that I must not be alcoholic enough for a program if I am getting it, which is basically following all the suggestions. Okay, I think this was just a misunderstanding. This was just an error in communication. I think that they were trying to tell you something nice. They think, because I've seen it firsthand myself, okay? I used to lead recovery groups. I used to, do substance abuse counseling. And I saw a lot of people who just really struggled, especially if it was their first time. So I don't think that we need to take this as an excuse to just beat up on ourselves, I think that they were trying to be encouraging to you and say that they think you're doing a good job and that you're getting the ideas, because most people it takes multiple attempts. Most people it takes a long time to really get it. Why not? Because addiction fucking sucks. Oh, you're talking to Dean. I'm sorry, Dean, get over here. Dean. Congratulations on the 5 months, by the way. Also, we need to let go of some of these self-defeating beliefs, okay? Because that's what they are. Saying that I must not be alcoholic enough for a program, that is a self-defeating thought. You are inhibiting yourself from accessing the resources and the assistance and the support that you need, so don't do that. That's like saying I'm not depressed enough to go to therapy. That's like saying my cancer isn't bad enough to start, no. No. And it doesn't matter how severe your alcoholism is. If the program can help you, the program can help you. The program is basically following all the suggestions, doing service, going out for fellowships, doing the steps. I am only doing what I've been told to do, and it actually is helping me, so I keep doing it. Well, there you go. That's good. That's all that there needs to be to it. We don't have to overthink it. If we're doing the stuff and it's helping us, that's it. We don't need to throw self-sabotage or, we don't need to beat ourselves up. We don't need to mix that in. We're working it, and it's working. That's it. Although I would say that this is actually an opportunity for you to reassess some of those self-defeating thoughts. Now that you have some experience under your belt, maybe now's a good time to reflect on those and be like, oh yeah, these are my old patterns popping back up. These are my old patterns popping back up. These are the things that I'm working on changing. So this is actually a learning moment. I asked him why he said that, and he shared that most people need more convincing and need to fall more. I don't know, this comment just rubbed me the wrong way, almost as if he is suspicious with how he said it. It wasn't like, wow, it's unusual, so you should be proud. Okay, well, you gotta remember, this person isn't like a trained counselor. This person isn't like this is just a person from your AA group. So if they say something, they might not say it in the perfect way. So I don't think that it was coming across as accusatory. I don't think that, I think that might be us just looking into it a little bit too much. Because this is true. What he said is true. What he said is true. There's a whole, when you are working with somebody in addiction, they might not know that the problem that they have is a problem to them. There's a whole step-by-step process. They call it the stages of change. You start off, you're in pre-contemplation. You're not even thinking about it yet. And then you go into contemplation and you start thinking about it. And then you move into more action-oriented phases where you're actually start treating your addiction. Most people who are addicted they are unaware of how impactful it is to their lives. I've seen it firsthand, so I'm just saying it's tough getting started. But it sounds like you're doing a good job, so I think you need to give yourself a little bit more credit. Fast forward a few days, he spoke for me at last night's meeting I was chairing, and in it he shares how involved he was in AA when he entered at 19, doing service, carrying around the books, and that he was sober for 28 years before he relapsed after falling off from meetings and service. So like that comment fucked me even more because you know how it is. Why say to a newcomer it's unusual to get it when I'm still so new and anything can happen down the line? There's also another thing that they say in these groups is to take it one day at a time. Because we don't know what's going to happen in 30 years. In 30 years, we could lose a loved one. In 30 years, something terrible could happen and then we relapse. But you have those tools, you have that experience, you have that knowledge to help get you back up easier even though you have fallen. That's the whole point of recovery, is to learn how to get back up, learn how to keep yourself up, and if you fall, which many of us do, you have those tools to help you get back up again. If you want to be sober for the rest of your life, just focus on staying sober today. Today is the day you need to worry about. I spoke to him after, calling back to his comment, and said how qualifications like his scare the shit out of me because I know that it can happen and it's why I am and hope to stay close to the program and my recovery. He didn't say much and I felt even weirder after that. Maybe he just didn't know what to say, you know? Maybe he was trying to be helpful, but he realized that he wasn't being helpful and so he just doesn't know what to say. I hate ruminating and I'm trying to work on it, and I know I should allow shit to roll off and keep doing what I am doing, but damn, wish some people stayed in their lane and thought before speaking, especially at a space such as this. Yeah. The important thing here is to keep up the good work. You know, my perspective on this is that, you know, you're doing well, keep doing well. Just keep up the good work. You take it one day at a time. You get through another day. One day longer, one day stronger. I think that he was trying to be inspiring to you, you know, telling you that compared to other people that he's seen, this guy has been in treatment for decades. He's probably seen countless new people not take it seriously. He's probably seen countless new people fail and, you know, drop off and not keep coming. but you were different, and he just wanted you to know that you're doing a good job. So you're doing a good job, so keep up the good work. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. You know, dealing with an addiction can be a stressful and frustrating time, and it can make us overthink, it can make us ruminate, and that's when we really just need to lean on the things that we're learning, those new coping skills, the way that we can reframe things, the new ways of acting and thinking. Just keep up the good work, all right? You're doing a good job. Why do my parents not like it when I go out when I rarely do? Probably once every 3 to 5 months, but they're okay with my brother going out every day. I'm assuming it's because I am a girl because it's always been this way. I'm not quite sure. I mean, yeah, probably. If we're just being honest, that kind of sounds like that's what it is. They might be a little bit overprotective of you. You know, I don't know where you live. I don't know where you're at. I don't know what the situation is like. You know, for all we know, it could be. Oh. I really feel like that is the reason, though, just based on what you're telling me. Yeah, they have no problem with your brother doing it, but they're trying to protect you because they know that the world can be dangerous out there when you're a woman, especially if you're out there on your own. I would just reassure them that you're going to take precautions to stay safe and that you'll have your phone on you and that people will know where you're at and where you're going and who you're going to be with. I would love it if we lived in a world where anybody could go out on their own and not have to worry about anything bad happening to them ever. I really, really, really wish that that was the world that we lived in. But unfortunately, there's some really, creepy, messed up, predatory people out there that we have to protect ourselves from. And so as long as that remains to be true, people are going to worry about us when we go out. So just reassure them that you're going to take precautions and be safe because that's just good practice. You know, taking precautions and being safe. Those are things that you should be doing anyway. Just reassure them, let them know. Like, this is where I'll be, this is who I'll be with. If you need me to check in, I can, just to ease your mind. Well, that's probably why it is. They're probably just a bit overprotective, but... What would you recommend for those restarting a relationship? There was some time apart, psychology-wise. What I would recommend is understanding that there may have been growth and changes during that time apart. I like to operate under the assumption that people, when we're apart, I like to assume that they are growing and learning and improving. But then sometimes you realize that they aren't. You know, sometimes you restart a relationship and you realize this is the same exact person that I broke things off with. They haven't done much changing. And if I get, you know, if I start to rebuild this relationship, I'm just going to find myself in the same position with them that I was before. So what I would say is be mindful of what boundaries you need to have in restarting this relationship. You know, if there was time apart, there was more than likely a reason for why that time apart needed to be there. And so as you restart the relationship, don't feel like you immediately have to go back to the way that things were. You know, you can take time to build things back up. Get to know this person. And just be mindful of the boundaries that you need to have in order to protect yourself. You know, think about what it was that brought the relationship to a close in the first place. Also, be willing to have a conversation with the person about it. You know, talk about that time apart. Talk about what you've been doing in the meantime. You know, what were you doing during that time apart? What were they up to? What sort of experiences and lessons and things have happened during that time? You know, if you're going to rebuild a bridge, it's not just you that's going to have to rebuild that entire bridge. You know, you should also see that they want to rebuild that bridge as well, so that you can meet in the middle. Sometimes in life you have to meet people where they're at. This is true. But for balanced relationships, you would like to hopefully see that they're willing to put some effort in as well in that reconnection. You know, you're getting to learn who you are, they're getting to learn who they are, and now you're getting to learn who the other one is. Show them how much you've grown in the meantime. Sometimes in life you gotta burn a bridge. Sometimes in life you can rebuild a bridge. You know, if we believe that growth and change is possible for ourselves, then we also understand that it is possible for others. Now, whether or not they choose to commit to that growth and change, that's up to them. So I would say in reconnecting, there's no harm in giving somebody a chance as long as you're not, you know, then this is where important boundaries come into play. You're not immediately, you know, giving them access to your banking information or letting them live at your house. Healthy boundaries when testing waters. You know, go out and get some coffee, go out and get lunch. You know, if you're going to rebuild a relationship with somebody, you should hope that they are committed to growing and changing. Otherwise, what's the point? Hello. I've mentioned in the past that I was in an 8-year relationship with someone that was going nowhere. We went our separate ways before Christmas and haven't spoken to each other since. I thought I would feel more upset about it, but I don't. I guess I already felt so disconnected that talking was the last piece. Now I am trying to take some time for me, but I also want to know what's a good amount of time to give myself before stepping into something else. LOL. Have I disconnected again? Hold on. Alright, I think I'm coming back. I think I'm coming back. The internet's acting a little buggy today. I don't know if it's the snow or what's going on, but we should be okay. We came back that time. What's a good amount of time to give myself before stepping into something else? That's up to you to decide. That's honestly up to you to decide. I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer here. Well, I mean, there would be a wrong answer, and it would be like the next day. Like, yeah, I just left an 8-year relationship, and now I'm gonna immediately go into a relationship with somebody else. That might be a bit too soon. That might be rushing things a little bit. Now, you gotta keep in mind that just because we do things too soon doesn't mean that they always fail. Like, sometimes we go into another relationship after an old relationship relatively quickly. That doesn't always mean that it's destined to fail. You know, if you find somebody that you really resonate with, give it a try. Because the thing is, like you've said, this relationship was 8 years long, but you had already kind of disconnected before that, and so it's not like you're immediately jumping into somebody else. You also have all of that time where you were together, but you were like emotionally disconnected from them. So in reality, you've actually had more time than you would think because you were basically already not together emotionally for however long that may have been. That may have been months, that may have been years. So I would say now's a time to get out there and have fun and meet people and see what your options are. And I would encourage you to do that before you jump into something. That's what I would encourage. Just have some fun, see what's out there, enjoy yourself. That's what I would encourage you to do. But you gotta remember that if you feel like things are too soon, you gotta remember, like, even though I only separated from this person a few weeks ago, how long were we? I would just say, you know, trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. You know, you know yourself better than I do. If it feels right, go for it. That's what I gotta say. Because sometimes you're with somebody for years, but you're basically just disconnected from them completely, and you're like, you're ready for somebody new. You're ready to move on, but you haven't done it officially yet. And so around Christmas time, that was your official end date, but your emotional end date, that could have been months ago. You know, so there could have been, you've already been moving on. You've already been like getting ready to like for like your next stage in life. So yeah, just make sure that if you're going into something new, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. How do I stop getting annoyed by someone telling me something I already know? It's a bit difficult to stop. By recognizing that you tell people stuff that they already know all the time and they don't get annoyed with you for it. By recognizing that the reason why they are telling you something, even though you already know it, is because they think it would be interesting to you. They're trying to have a conversation with you. They're trying to talk to you about something that they think that you would be interested in. This is them trying to connect with you. And so we don't need to be annoyed by that. I understand why it would happen. I've caught myself doing it sometimes before. You know, it's just like, oh yeah, I've heard this already. I already know that. But you got to recognize that this is somebody who's just trying to connect with you. They're trying to talk to you about something that they think that you think would be interesting. And so even though you already know it, you don't have to get upset with them about it. They're not wasting your time. You know what I would encourage you to try? If somebody says something that you already know, respond with something like, oh yeah, I've heard that before. I thought that was really interesting. Also, this other thing, a side fact, another additional bit of information about that topic. See, this is how you get a conversation going. You can actually, you start off with this fact, this thing you already know, but there's a whole conversation that could happen based on that thing. And so if somebody says something, but it's something you already know and you get annoyed with it, you're shutting yourself off from many potential conversations, many potential discussions. If you're only willing to hear something if it's novel and new to you, then you are shutting out a lot of people and you're going to find yourself kind of lonely. And we don't want that. We don't want that. We want to have fun. We want to have friends. We want to talk to people about stuff. And so if somebody comes to you and they're telling you something, but it's something you already know, the reason why they did that is because they thought that you would think it was interesting. They heard that fact, they learned that thing, and they said, ooh, you know who I think would be interested in this? This person. I'm going to go tell them about it. So the content of whatever they're talking about, that is secondary. The important thing to not miss here is that this is them trying to connect with you. They're trying to get closer to you. They're trying to, do you want that to happen? If you want that to happen, then don't push them away. If you know about it and they know about it, then guess what? Now you can both talk about it on an even deeper level. You can both explore that topic together. You can have an educated discussion. Talk about how that thing makes you feel. Talk about your thoughts on that thing. This is just a conversation starter. This doesn't have to be educational, Not everything that people tell you has to be something you've never heard before. They don't know everything you know. Conversational onion. We all know what an onion looks like, but the layers inside are all unique. Oh yeah, absolutely. If the world would end in 2 hours, would you wait for it or die by your own hand? Oh no, I'd go outside and watch. I'd be out there shooting stuff off into the air. I'd be out there watching. I'd go out there with my loved ones and hold them closely and watch it happen. That's what I would do. What if the end of the world is very painful, like fire raining down or something? What does your decision depend on? I don't know. All I know is that if I knew that the world was gonna end, I would be having an end of the world party. I would be partying like there's no tomorrow because there's no tomorrow. That's what I would be doing. Yeah, if the end of the world was happening, I would wait until I would wait it out. I would see what's going on. I want to be there till the last second. How can I help with my anxiety with starting my first job? I feel like I don't know anything. Well, that's because you don't know anything. I don't mean that as an insult, I just mean that as a statement of fact. You are going to learn in working how to do that job. You don't have to worry about that. They will teach you the job that you need to do. If this is your first job, they will teach you how to do it. You're going to spend the first 2 weeks at your job probably learning how to do the job. You're going to be in trainee mode. Also, feeling like you don't know anything is a great way to approach things. You know, recognizing your own ignorance is actually how we learn the most. When we understand the holes in our knowledge, we know that we don't know anything, so now we can learn. Just go into it with a good attitude. That'll take you 90% of the way. Ask questions when you need to ask questions. Be nice, be friendly. You're going to take the first chunk of time. This is your first job. They are going to take the first few weeks probably just teaching you how to do the job. So you don't have to worry about knowing how to do the job. They're going to teach you. And you're going to get paid for it. That's the best part. You're actually going to get paid to learn how to do the job. They hired you knowing that you don't know everything, but they hired you with the plan to teach you. So as long as you are willing to learn, that's what matters. Like, yeah, if you feel like you don't know anything, it's true. You don't know anything. Like if I'm getting my first job, I'm getting a job at a grocery store, a gas station, you know, wherever, Walmart. I'm getting my first job. And I don't know anything about working there. Why would you? Why would you know anything about working there? You've never had to work there before. It is only in actually doing the job and getting hired and going through the training that you actually learn how to do that job. So you're exactly where you should be right now. There's no reason for you to know how to do that job. You haven't been trained to do it yet, but they're going to do it. And they're going to pay you for it, so that's pretty sweet. You know, and if you mess up at the job, which will happen because we've all been there, just remind them that, like, I'm sorry, I'm new. Yeah, a lot of times places will hire people not based on what they know or what they can do, but just their attitude and their willingness to learn. So I would say go into it with a good attitude and a willingness to learn, and that will take you very far. Also, congratulations. Congratulations on the job. I'm actually in the process of looking for someone to hire, and I want someone who is ready to learn. Really don't really care about past experience if they have decent ethic. Right? It's like, would you rather hire somebody with 20 years experience, but they're just this grizzled old, like they're just not good, like, you know, they're just not a good fit, you know? Would you rather bring that person in, or would you rather have the person that's full of like optimism and like willingness to learn, and they've got a good attitude, and you're like, you know what, we kind of need that energy around here. I don't want to be here anymore, but I don't actually want to KMS. I'm stuck in life right now. What do I do? Where are you trying to get to? If you don't want to be here, then where do you want to be? The reason why you don't like where you're at is because maybe things aren't going well for you. Maybe you're feeling unsatisfied. Maybe you're feeling disconnected. There could be any number of reasons for why that is. You know, if you want to take a deeper look at that, I would encourage you to do that. You know, why is it that I feel unsatisfied in my current situation? What is it about my environment or my mindset or my behaviors that I need to change so that things can work better for me? If you feel stuck, what I would encourage you to do is just do a thorough introspection on where I'm at right now. What is going on in my life? You know, and what is it that I'm looking to change? You know, do I need to move? Do I need a new job? Do I need to make friends? Do I need new hobbies? Do I need to change my thinking? Do I need to change my emotions? Do I need to change my behaviors? A little bit of all of them. What I would encourage you to do is find somebody to talk to about it. You know, if you are feeling really down and out, I would encourage you to talk to somebody about it, whether it be a counselor, a therapist, a friend, a loved one, a crisis hotline. The most important thing to remember is that you are not alone in these feelings, and you don't have to make it through all on your own. You know, there is help and support out there. You just gotta ask. You just gotta reach out. Do I need to get rid of someone toxic from my life? Great example. You know, do I need to change who I'm spending time with? Do I need to, you know, find new people to surround myself with? Or am I the toxic one in my life? You mentioned people who get obsessed with each other and rush into serious commitment/marriages. I've seen people do this and I don't understand at all. Why do they do that? Well, it depends. Some people it's because they wanna... You know what I mean? Some people, that's why they do it, is because... So that's a big part of the answer. Another part is they feel like they're supposed to do it. Another big part on why people rush into serious commitments or marriages is because they feel like they are supposed to. They feel like if I am alone, I am a failure, I'm a loser, I'm letting down the human race, I'm not finding a mate and reproducing. You know, there's a lot of like social pressures, biological pressures. It's like, but it's fine to be on your own. You know, being on your own allows you plenty of opportunity and time to really work on yourself and refine yourself, and to take time to, you know, just dedicate it on stuff that centers around you. And that's okay. It can give you that time you need to just really find the person that you're meant to be with. by becoming somebody exceptional. Whenever I have an iced coffee, the biggest problem in my life at that moment is that I'm almost out of iced coffee. That's just the power of iced coffee for me. Like everything else just goes out the window. My hierarchy of needs right now is a big triangle that just says iced coffee in it. I would tell 26-year-old me, now, what would future you tell current you? You know, right now we like to think about what we would tell ourselves in the past, but what would us in the future tell us today? Are you Midwestern? Yes. And dude, I'll drink iced coffee year round. You know, I actually haven't had a nice coffee. Well, it's been a few weeks, but yes. Iced coffee is always good. Like it's winter. I was tired of hot coffee. I wanted to change up. Give me something cold. Future me would say I should have run off with a rich man or woman sooner. No. Future you would say, I'm glad I did all the work that I needed to do. Future you would say, I wish I had learned to be kinder to myself sooner. But it's nice that I learned when I did. Because future you isn't going to be looking back and saying, I should have done something differently in the past. That's not what future you is going to do. Future you is going to look back and say, look how far I've come. I'm really glad that I did what I needed to do when I was able to do it. Because future you has more self-compassion. Future you has more, understanding and empathy for yourself. Future you is really cooking. Yeah, people rush into the relationship because they feel like they should be in a relationship. Also, there's a lot of social pressures to be in a relationship. Also, being on your own is expensive. And sometimes you have to be in a relationship for survival. So there's all sorts of reasons why people rush into relationships. It's an interesting thing to think about. Interesting thing to think about. So my partner is very type A and loves things to be done in particular ways. Every time when I try to help, whether it be setting up for parties, or folding the towels, or putting the dishwasher or the dishes in the dishwasher, I never do it right. I never do it the right way, so he always goes back and does it his way. Sometimes he complains because he feels like he does a lot more than me, when in fact I just get discouraged in doing things because I feel like my way in doing things isn't correct. How can we both help each other? I would say in those moments, just be like, all right, so I'm not doing it the right way. What should I do differently? You know? You could also give them some reassurance and tell them it'll be fine. Don't worry, the dishes are still gonna get clean. You know, you don't even have to go out of the way. You don't have to go out of your way to make more trouble for yourself. And I'm talking about both you and your partner. Sometimes they don't. Yeah, but that's fine because that's not the end of the world. Like these things that we're getting frustrated with or upset about, it's like in the grand scheme of things, this is very small stuff, how well the dishwasher is loaded. I overcooked my century eggs. Oh no, you left them in for 101 years. You were supposed to take them out at the 100-year mark. I think from your partner's standpoint, they need to be better at accepting help and relinquishing control. That's going to be a big one, is letting go of that feeling of I need to have control over this. That's also me in a relationship because I'm the one who loads the dishwasher. What I've found to be helpful, though, and so I'm kind of speaking from the position of your partner because that can also kind of be me, is to, if while they're doing the thing, be like, would you care for a tip? Can I offer you a pointer? Instead of just telling them or stepping in and doing it, because that can kind of feel infantilizing. It can make a person feel incapable, and it can also make you feel resentful because you feel like you have to do everything. And so if somebody is doing something, but you recognize that there might be a better way to do it, especially for stuff like loading the dishwasher, it's like, yeah, there's a better way to load the dishwasher, because if you know how the dishwasher works and you know that if you load this dish the wrong way, it's not going to get cleaned, or if they're putting it on the wrong rack or they're putting it in the wrong spot, whatever, it's like, what I've found to be helpful is to just say, hey, let me show you something real quick. And then kind of explaining it instead of just being like, here, I'll do it. Just being like, oh, no, you have to put the bowls this way, because if you don't put them this way, then they're not going to get cleaned. All right. There you go. And then you just, you leave them to it. You don't want to have to be the one to load the dishwasher for the rest of time, okay? So you would be better served by helping them learn what you know, rather than just stepping in and doing it yourself. If you're just stepping in and doing it yourself, then you are depriving that person of a learning opportunity, and you are also just overcommitting and you are making more work for yourself. And this could end up making you resentful, and we don't want that. I'd get so pissed if I got told how to load the dishwasher. I mean, I think what I would say is like, hey, this thing, it didn't get clean in the dishwasher. I would just let them know, like, hey, if you put this thing in this position, it doesn't really get clean. Don't blame them, okay? That's a really important thing to consider here, is don't blame them. Blame the dishwasher. Don't blame the person. Don't say, Why didn't you load this correctly? Don't you know how to work a dishwasher? It's like, no, 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 no. Blame the dishwasher. Like, hey, this dishwasher, it doesn't really get bowls cleaned properly unless you put them like this. So next time you put the bowls in there, can you put them that way? Because otherwise the dishwasher isn't going to clean them. Blame the dishwasher. Don't blame them for not doing it correctly. Blame the dishwasher. Can it even be loaded that wrong? I think the most common mistake that people make in dishwasher loading is overloading it. You have to have space between all the dishes, otherwise nothing's gonna get clean. If it's too tightly packed, you need room for the water to move around. You need to have space between the dishes. I think what your partner needs to do is become more comfortable with relinquishing control and maybe doing a little bit of delegating. You know, if there's a way that they like to have things done and you don't mind helping and being helpful, that's fine. But I think this just comes down to communication. This is too much. Yeah, just like how many dishes are in your dishwasher right now because you overloaded it. Like, damn, even as experienced as I am as a dishwasher, like, I know how our dishwasher operates, and I can load it pretty effectively, and 99% of the stuff comes out clean. But every once in a while, there's just a dish that just didn't get cleaned properly, and that's not really my fault. You know, it's just bad luck. So run it through again. Run it through again. You just call me a hippie himbo? Oh, now you really sound like one of my haters. That's what they always call me. Keep going. Just really drag me. I am all of them. You're all those people. Oh, yeah. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. League player here. How to deal with bad and toxic players. I know I have a lot of room to improve, but I can't focus and they are so annoying. Ah, okay. Sometimes they even tell me to KMS. Yeah, that game's toxic as hell. I swear I didn't cross the line, but they are purposely toxic. Mute them. Focus on you. Focus on your performance, your gameplay. If you are focusing on other people and their performance and you're getting into arguments or discussion with them in chat, you are missing learning opportunities. You're not learning anything. You're not getting better at the game by going, stupid jungler, why can't you come to my lane? Can't you see that their jungler is here? Where are you? Where is your rotation? Why can't you play the... Like, play the game. Just play the game. Mute them and focus on yourself. Focus on your gameplay. How are you doing in the game? The only person that you have control over in that game is you. HOTS is still the best MOBA, and that's the silliest hill I will die on. HOTS was a really good MOBA. Blizzard, I feel like they really... I don't know what Blizzard's deal is. It's like Overwatch 2 flopped. They let HOTS go to shit. They just abandoned HOTS. It's like, Blizzard, what are you doing? HOTS was a great MOBA. They like the heroes were fun. They had different maps with different objectives. It was fresh and fun and interesting. And then they just abandoned it. You gotta remember that people who are toxic in League of Legends might not have the best situation going on in their life. You know, people who they play games to de-stress, and then League of Legends becomes their coping mechanism. It becomes the way that they regulate their stress, and now they're just like getting really angry and toxic. It's like you can tell that they might be dealing with some anger issues. And when it comes to dealing with people with anger issues, I would encourage you to just not engage with them, just for the sake of your own sanity. What if you play League to be able to be toxic? I mean, if that's how you spend your time, if that's what you choose to do with your time, I you know, that's your choice. I can just think of better uses for my time personally, you know. I like to play games to have fun. I don't like to play games to, you know, get told terrible things and insulted and stressful. You know, if people want to flame you in chat, maybe you could try saying something like, I understand that you're frustrated with the state of the game right now, but if there's anything that you would like me to do differently, perhaps there's a nicer way for you to say that. You know, if you're trying to delegate, if you're trying to be a team player, maybe you should work on your communication skills. That's the kind of shit that I would say. Flaming people has never worked at helping somebody to get better at a game. If you are flaming your own teammates, you are making your team lose. Flaming your own team is a surefire way to lose that game. So just rise above it. Rise above the toxicity. You don't have to play their game. I mean, in the chat, you can still play League, but just don't play the flame game. Have you always been this chill? No. No, not at all. I had to recognize the ways in which I was unchill in order to become more chill. Sometimes you have to do some, you know, self-reflection and understanding. I wasn't just born this chill. I wanted to be this chill, and so I learned what I need to do to become this chill. And I still feel like I've got a ways to go to become as chill as I want to be. You know, I'm a work in progress. I wanted to extend on another questioner. Me and my BF have been together going on 6 years. There are so many people around us that have gotten together way after us and are married now. I was feeling a sense of shame, like, why aren't we married yet? But we know we are getting married, just waiting for more money in our careers because I have a kiddo that he's raised with me from the age of 2. He's 7 now. Oh, nice. Makes me wonder, though, how these people are doing it. Each year, me and my BF learn more about each other and grow from different rough patches, and I can't imagine having married him before going through all those things with him, TBH. I think divorces come from new rough patches and people not knowing how to navigate it. That's a good point. That's a good point. You gotta remember that if you get married to somebody too soon, and then you have like arguments or disagreements, or you find yourself unsatisfied, the fact that you feel stuck in that marriage might make you feel more anxious about getting out of it instead of working through it. I don't know. I'm not like some people, it might affect them that way. They might feel like, oh no, I don't want to be with this forever, and then they bolt, rather than being like, hey, let's work on this. Let's talk about it. Let's work through this. Sometimes having a slightly looser connection can actually help you to be more open to working on it because you aren't afraid that you're trapped. I don't know. Like, you're connected with this person, you're bonded with this person, and that's what matters. It's like marriage is just a legal thing. It's just a piece of paper. That connection exists in here. Like right now, the only thing I can think about is like, what are some of the benefits of getting married? You can file your taxes together. Can you get a better tax rate? Is it gonna save you money or anything? You know, like you've been raising a kid together, you've been together for a long time. It's like you're basically already married. The only thing it's just like you're not married technically. Like that's how it is with me and Casey. Like we've been together for a long time and I view her as my significant other. You know, we are partners. I don't see myself ever being with anybody else. Like, why would we get married? Like, mostly just as a formality. I feel married in all ways but legally, you know? Also, I've heard stories of older people having to get divorces even though they were married for decades because one of the people like gets disabled or something and they're ineligible for benefits because they have too much income as a married couple, and so they have to get a divorce so that one of them becomes eligible for benefits. Isn't that sad? Isn't that just so messed up? That's America for you. That's the sobering reality that many older married people have to face is one of them becomes disabled and they are ineligible for any type of disability benefits because their combined income is too high, because that's how they base it, is based off your combined income. And when you are disabled, the income allowance that you're allowed to have is very low. So yeah, it's really messed up. America is in many ways a dystopian nightmare. Darktide calls. I know. He's sad that I'm not playing Darktide with him. Alrighty, we're all caught up with the question box for now. So how about we talk about something fun? I'm gonna go get another coffee and run to the restroom real quick. But we've got a topic that we're gonna talk about today: the psychology of play. The psychology of play. All right, I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alrighty. Alrighty. Alrighty, I'm back. Let those dogs outside. And let those dogs outside. Alright, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about something fun. We're going to talk about play. This was one of the topics that came up in a previous discussion, and we thought it would be a good topic to revisit and go a little deeper into. So today we're going to talk about it. So today we're going to talk about play. So let's get to it. What is play? You know, we like to start off with a definition. We got to figure out what we're talking about first. Play. A voluntary, intrinsically motivated activity that provides enjoyment and often serves as a developmental or adaptive purpose. Voluntary, intrinsically motivated. You are doing it because you choose to do it, you want to do it, and the act itself makes you want to do it more because you're having fun, you're enjoying yourself. Play is spontaneous and flexible. It often lacks immediate practical goals. You know, it's not filing your taxes. You know, it's not going grocery shopping. Although we can have fun with grocery shopping. And it also engages your creativity, your problem solving, and your emotional regulation. So play is important to us. Let's talk about why. Why is play important? Hold on, I have to fix this before it's going to bother me. My caps lock on? Yep, that's what. Okay. Don't mind me. Why is play important to us? First off, it helps with your cognitive development. It helps to develop your brain. Play is a way to enhance your problem-solving skills. Not only does it enhance your problem-solving skills, but it gives you an opportunity to practice and refine your problem-solving skills in a low-stakes environment. You know, you're there, you're having fun. It tends to be more casual and enjoyable. You know, it's not a do or die, make it or break it moment. It's just fun. It's lighthearted. It's supposed to be enjoyable. Is that true for adults as well as children? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll actually talk about that on a later slide. We're going to talk about adults and children. Play also promotes creativity and abstract thinking. You know, it's a good way to, you know, get your brain really going. You know, you're thinking of solutions to the problems that you're facing. You're thinking creatively. You're thinking outside the box. It encourages you to explore and to be curious. I feel like my brain is a lot more active on the days that I've been gaming. That'll do it. That'll do it. It does serve a purpose. Play also encourages our social development. It can teach you to cooperate. It can teach you to take turns. It can also help you to resolve conflicts. It can teach you conflict resolution. Give me just a second. Atticus wants to join us. All right, Atticus, I'm coming. Atticus was outside the room. He said he wanted to be in here with us. Atticus said, "Am I missing the play presentation?" I said, "Oh, sorry, bud." Play can help you to build empathy and social bonds. It also has emotional benefits. It's a healthy outlet for stress. You know, and this is what a lot of people will turn to it for. This is why a lot of people will, you know, play sports or play video games, is an outlet for their stress. It can also help you to feel more accomplished. It can boost your self-esteem. You're mastering a skill, you're collecting all the trophies, you know, you're 100%ing that game. Or you climb through the ranks, you know, whatever it might be. You can feel a sense of progression. So these are some of the reasons why play is important. I'm not going to hang around too long on any one of these slides because we got a lot to get through. I think there's like 9 slides on this one. Let's talk about play in animals, because we're not the only ones that play. We're not the only ones that do it. We observe it in other creatures as well. So why do they do it? In the animal world, play is a great way to teach skills. It's a good way to teach skills that can help survive. Predatory animals, for example, you know, lions, wolves, those types of creatures. The big cats. They will use play as a way to practice hunting behaviors. You know, they'll stalk each other, they'll pounce on each other. If you have 2 cats, you've probably seen them do it. And it's a way that they can practice their hunting skills. This is something, you know, you see this in lions. You'll see like an adult lion playing with the babies. One of the things that an adult lion will do that I think is really funny is they'll play with the kid, but then whenever the baby lion will like bite him or something, the adult will act like it hurts way more than it actually does. They'll like ham it up a little bit. They'll be like, "Ah, you got me." It's the same kind of stuff that we do like when we're playing with kids. And I think that's really interesting. You know, you're playing with a kid, you're like wrestling around or whatever, and you're like, "Oh no, oh, you got me. Oh, you're so strong." And I think it's really cute that cats do that too. Prey animals, you know, rabbits, mice, you know, stuff like that, they use play as a way to develop their escape strategies. They'll chase each other around, they'll, you know, they do it as a way to practice, you know, running and hiding. It's like, when do I run? When do I stay still? You know, this is how they learn these types of skills, is by goofing around. And I think that's really cool. Animals also use play as a way to learn their social norms. Play fighting in animals can help to establish boundaries and hierarchies. You know, you've probably seen, and like I keep going back to cats because cats are one of the really easy examples to understand as far as play in animals. You see it a lot in dogs too, but like if they're crossing a boundary, like they'll give a warning, like they'll let them know, like they'll fight around with them, but they won't do it seriously. Like they might bite them, but they're not going to bite them hard. They're not trying to hurt them. They're just establishing their boundary. They're showing them who's in charge. They're showing, you know, like, all right, this is the order. It's also a great way for stress reduction. It allows them to engage their instincts in a low-stakes environment, reducing their anxiety and preparing for those real-world challenges. Just like us. They're a lot like us. Got another iced coffee. This one I made a little bit darker. God, I love iced coffee. Cut me off after this one though. I wondered if stress reduction was in there. It is. It is because animals deal with stress too. And sometimes they will engage in games. You know, they'll run around, they'll chase each other, they'll play little animal games, or they'll play with their toys just to reduce their stress in the same way that you or I would. Like sometimes I've noticed it's like if Beaver is trying to get me to get food and he's acting like he's hungry, like sometimes he'll go and he'll start kicking his toy around to distract himself. I've noticed that about him. And the thing about Beaver is that he's always hungry. That's orange cat stuff. Now let's talk about play in humans. In childhood, play is something that's really vital for our brain development and for learning. You know, we can learn social norms, we can learn cooperation, all of those skills that we talked about earlier as far as why play is essential. For children, it can also encourage them to, you know, use their brains, you know, to be more imaginative, to experiment. These are things that we want to instill in children, is to be good critical thinkers. Now, in adulthood, play might look a little bit differently. When you're a kid, play is it's almost more of like a default setting, you know? When you're a child, play can be more of like something that's just you slip in and out of. It's just kind of, you know, you're having fun. Now in adulthood, this can look a little bit different. It can be a little bit more structured. You know, and this often takes the form of games, sports, hobbies. I have a friend who really likes board games. I mean, I have a few friends that really like board games because I'm friends with a bunch of nerds. Not saying I'm not a nerd, I'm just, you know, we're recognizing each other. But he will have like a board game group. He will have a group of people that they meet up every week or every other week and they play board games. You know, and so it's more structured. You know, it takes a little bit more planning when you're an adult to actually get to the point where you're like, all right, let's get together, let's have some fun, let's play. Mine is monthly. Oh, you got one too? Nice. Nice. The board game that I've been enjoying recently is Wingspan. Taking time to play as an adult helps you to reduce your stress. It can help to build a sense of community. Like we were just talking about people having board game groups or sports teams. You know, it's an opportunity to get out there and to connect and to meet people. And it's also a way to keep your brain sharp. You know, you keep using your imagination, your critical thinking skills, abstract thoughts, you know, problem solving. It's a good way to keep you active. It's a good way to keep you mentally sharp. They have a dragon one. Oh yeah, Wormspan. I haven't tried that one yet. Why does play feel good? Why is play enjoyable? Let's talk about that for a moment. You want some psychology? Let's go into a little bit. Why do we enjoy playing? First off, we got to talk about your brain's reward system. Got to talk about dopamine. Your dopamine pathways, this is your brain's reward system. It's what gives you feelings of pleasure, satisfaction, and also motivation. And so when you engage in play, it activates your dopamine pathways. Now, what do we know about dopamine? It also plays a role in reinforcing behaviors. Dopamine also plays a role in addiction. So because of this, you could understand why some people might become addicted to playing some games. Shout out to all my League of Legends addicts. I wish you a very speedy recovery. Remember when we talked about that a flow state? You remember when we talked about a flow state? When, you know, you're in that sweet spot mentally. Time just comes to a standstill. You feel like you're just in the zone. Playing can do that for you. It can put you into that position where I feel like I'm honing my skills. I am, exceeding my limits. We did a whole presentation on flow state, so if you missed it, I feel sorry for you because it was a good one, but this is what playing a game or, taking time to play, sports, games, whatever. I really liked flow state, and I notice it all the time now. Hell yeah. It's that mental sweet spot when you're just in the zone, You lose yourself in whatever it is you're doing. I keep throwing in these... I need to stop munching on these Cheetos. I need to get those away from me. When I used to play softball, I swear time slowed down. So yeah, because your perception of time can change depending on how dialed in you are on the moment that you are in. If your thoughts are just kind of wandering, you can kind of, time can drag on. When you're really dialed into something, like time can fly by. But you also feel like I can feel every second passing. Play also feels good biologically. You know, we are biologically wired to enjoy it. It's something it's a way for us to learn. It's a way for us to stay sharp. It's a way for us to socialize and to connect. And when we're engaging in this type of activity, it's changing our brain. Our brain is changing whenever we're playing. It can help to strengthen the connections that we are activating in that time. It can also help to reinforce adaptive behaviors by providing you with positive feedback for those behaviors. You can increase a behavior by getting positive feedback for it. We call that operant conditioning. And so play, in this instance, would reinforce your flexibility, your adaptability, your critical thinking. And it gives you a reward for doing those things because those things make you more successful in whatever it is that you're playing. And so it continues to motivate you to keep going, keep reinforcing your skills, keep growing. It's also a great stress relief. We gotta mention this again. Stress relief. When you take time to just play a game, it can help to reduce your cortisol level, unless you're playing League of Legends, in which case it'll probably raise your cortisol level. All of my League of Legends players are catching strays right now, and it is what it is. I had to quit playing League of Legends because I realized that I was just getting angry at my friends for not being as good at the game as I would like them to be. Because I had a few friends in our gaming group who just weren't that good at it, and it was really frustrating because, you know, it's just like, you want to win, right? Like, losing doesn't feel good. You want to win the game. And, you take it out on your friends because they're tanking you. It's like, this is why whenever I engage in play, I like to play games that are a bit less sweaty. I like to lower the stakes a little bit. I like to get that proper level of stress relief. I've been hooked on Stardew Valley lately. Very peaceful game. Also, when you engage in play, it engages your parasympathetic nervous system. That's that part of your nervous system that we talk about all the time. It's the rest and digest part of your nervous system. It can help to engage that. Co-op games? Yeah, co-op games are the best. Co-op games are the best. Play can help you to hone your skills. It's another important aspect of it. Your physical skills, whether it be doing stuff outside, playing sports, outdoor stuff. It's building your strength, your agility, your coordination. It can also help to improve your mental skills. Playing strategy games can help to improve your critical thinking and your planning. Creative games, RPGs, D&D, that type of stuff. You're doing storytelling. You're basically, or whether you're doing art, this can enhance your problem solving, make you more creative. It can make you, it can have you embrace that abstract thinking. Gaming can also help to improve your social skills. If you're doing things in a group, it can foster teamwork and communication, ideally. Ideally, if you're playing in a game and you're playing in a group, I would hope that it is helping you to build a sense of team camaraderie. I hope it would make you a better team player and a better communicator. Which is why my favorite thing to do when somebody's toxic in a video game is to let them know that their communication skills are not that good. Like, they want to criticize you about your gameplay, criticize them about their communication skills. In modern society, we've got some barriers that can get in our way when we're trying to play. This is why when we're adults, we have to make an extra effort to take that time or to find that group or to get out there and have fun. Maybe we're overscheduled. You know, if we've got work or school in the way, it very often leaves little room for play. Also, there's a stigma. There's a stigma around play for adults. Now, I'm not saying you or I view it this way, but other people do. And if you do view it this way, it's like I don't think that this view is very common here on Twitch. You know, we're on Twitch, all right? It's like most of us are probably gamers. But there is a societal stigma around play for adults. Oftentimes it's viewed as childish or unproductive. Like, what are you doing? Taking time to play games? You know, the thing about it is that it can be unproductive because, you know, maybe we have other things that we need to be doing, but taking time to have fun, taking time to play is also important. We just want to make sure it's not getting in the way, but we also want to leave room for it. Also, the improvements of technology. You know, a lot of people find play digitally these days. So the access to technology, all of that increased screen time, it could take away from the other ways that we could be connecting with people. It could limit the physical connection, the social connection. Social media and technology is a really interesting paradox because not only are we more connected than we've ever been, we also feel more disconnected than we've ever been. It's really bizarre how that works. Chan was talking about playing Dead Space. I've been playing Silent Hill 2 with Casey, and the way that I cope with scary games is I start talking shit. Whenever I'm playing a game and it's scary, like, I start talking shit. I don't know, it just comes out of me. That's just my survival instinct. It's actually been years, but maybe some of you were here for this. A few years ago, I actually played Alien Isolation. I played through the whole thing on stream. I beat Alien Isolation, and that game is scary. Alien Isolation, now that was a frightening game. You like being scared playing a game? I didn't used to, but I feel like nowadays it just kind of heightens my awareness and I get really dialed in. I feel like a little bit of added anxiety can help to enhance my performance. Alien Isolation, though, it's like, oh my god, the alien learns about you. It learns. It learns how you act. It can plan around it. You have to stay adaptable. So that's why I really liked Alien Isolation, is because it taught me to stay unpredictable. You know, the alien can't predict your outcome. It can't predict your emotions if you don't do the same thing every time. You got to keep your enemy guessing. That's what I learned by playing that game. You got to keep them guessing. Who here has played Alien Isolation? Does anybody not know what that is? Alien Isolation. It's 10 years old now. It's a 10-year-old game. What makes Alien Isolation especially frightening is that the alien, the one that's like hunting you, it learns, you know, and it can play. It evolves. It's terrifying. Didn't you play it on stream once? Yeah, that's what I was saying. I played it on stream a long time ago, so somebody here might have seen that happen. One of the games that terrified me when I was young is I was young and I was watching my uncle play a video game, and he was playing Clock Tower for PlayStation 1. And I remember it scared the shit out of me, but now looking back at the graphics, it actually seems pretty comical. Clock Tower. It's like you're in a hotel or something, and there's this guy with a giant pair of scissors, and he just like follows you around and tries to catch you, and you have to outmaneuver him and escape from him and stuff. And I remember this game scared me. I didn't actually play it. I was just watching someone play it, but well, like looking back at the graphics now, I'm like, this is actually kind of comical. It looked a lot scarier back then, okay? It was a lot more frightening when I was a child. Yeah, right now we're having to play through Silent Hill 2, so we'll be playing more Silent Hill 2 tonight. Outlast? And I haven't played Outlast. I don't normally seek out those types of games. If I'm being honest, I'm not really that big on scary games. I've played a couple of them just to play them, but I can't say that they're really like something that draws me something that draws me in. Yeah, right now we're playing the Silent Hill 2 remake. We just got out of the hospital, so we're probably like halfway through. Yeah, I remember playing games on the PlayStation 1 and being scared of them. Even though now, looking back, the graphics are so terrible, it's just like, why was I scared of this? This looks cartoony. Like I had this game that scared me. It was called Nightmare Creatures. Like looking back on it now, it's just like, sure, that's not that scary. Like, look at this. Like, what is this? But back then, 1997. All right, let's talk about reclaiming play as an adult. Let's talk about how we can make play more of a part of our lives. Incorporate more playful activities. You know, if you feel like you're not having a lot of fun in life, make an effort to do that. You know, try board games, you know, get some people together. Invite some people over and say, hey, I got a new board game. I want you guys to try it out. Although, if I'm going to be honest, just as a little bit of an educational component, if you're going to try out a new board game with people, and it's the first time that any of you has ever played it, learn how to play it first before you invite other people to come play it with you. Because otherwise you're going to be sitting there reading through the manual like, okay, now what do we do? Especially if it's a more like complicated game. Learn how to play it first so that you can explain it to people. That's my pro tip for if you're going to get people together to play a board game. Who's going to argue about the rules, though? Not me. Play also can be a solo activity. This could be your hobbies, you know, if you do something creative. You know, whether it be like doing a little bit of painting, a little bit of sculpting, some drawing, whatever it might be. That still counts as play. It's a hobby, it's creating art, but it's also still a playful activity. And hey, maybe you're a sporty type. Maybe you could do a little bit of sport. Maybe you could get out there and play some pickleball. You know, I understand why people are into pickleball because it's way less physical than tennis. Tennis, you're running all over the place. That ball's going wild. Pickleball, it tends to be a little more relaxed. I encourage people to try more role-playing games. You know, interactive storytelling. You know, tabletop RPGs. This can be a great way to spend time with friends, to be creative, to build a world together. I play tennis and my friends keep shitting on pickleball SMH. You know, what I would say is let people like what they like. You know, I'm having less fun doing what I'm doing if I'm shitting on somebody else for having fun while I'm doing it. Because now, like, a certain part of me is allocated to talking shit, and I don't need that. I need to be more focused on the fun I'm having. I don't need to be trying to ruin anybody else's good time. Another thing to consider is if you want to have more fun and more play in your life, consider scheduling unstructured time. Just having time where you can do something spontaneous, you can do something fun. You don't have anything specific in mind. You're like, all right, I'm gonna, go through my console catalog and I'm gonna see all the games I got and I'm gonna pick one. Or I'm gonna go look at my shelf and see what board games we got. Unstructured time, more spontaneous, more fun. RPGs are my favorite. I need to play D&D, but I'm always afraid I'll do or read something wrong, and I just don't want to waste anyone's time. I just want to say that if you are not doing things because you are afraid of having to learn, and you're afraid of wasting other people's time, you're wasting your time. You know? What you need is some self-compassion. You know, nobody's going to be perfect. There's always going to be questions. It's the point of having a good DM. They don't mind when you ask questions. I'm always asking the DM questions. I'm like, now, would I be able to do this? Like, yeah, sure, go for it. I'm like, roll for it. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Consider engaging in social play, you know, join a team, a club, a community activity. Doesn't have to be anything too intense if that's not really your speed. Also, there's different levels to it. You can join a more casual league, you can join something more casual, more beginner-oriented. You can join something more competitive if that's your speed. The important thing to remember is that there's different levels to it, and you can find one that's comfortable for you. It's a good way to be social, it's a good way to connect to people, it's a good way to have fun. And lastly, embrace playfulness. Embrace it within yourself. Allow yourself to laugh. Allow yourself to experiment. Allow yourself to be silly. I miss old times playing with friends carelessly, which is why we want to bring them back. That's what this all is all about. We're reclaiming it. You know, we don't have to just let it not exist. We can I think Dadtron's out there busting up some ice on the front step. You'll love to see it. I can hear him cracking ice out there. I think he's using a shovel. I can't hear him going. Hold on. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it. He's just going. He's out there busting it up. This last one I would say is probably one of the most important ones, is just allow yourself to do those things. You know, if you are the type of person to say, you know, I can't do that, I'm a grown-up, I got responsibilities, it's like you gotta make time for fun. You gotta allow yourself to have those things. You know, because if you aren't doing that, then you're the one holding yourself back from it. You're the one not allowing that to happen. Closing thoughts? Play. It's not a frivolous activity. It's something that's essential for us. It helps our minds, it helps our feelings, our emotions, and it's also good for our social well-being. It's a way that we learn. It's a way that we have fun. By understanding the psychological benefits of play, we can prioritize it as a tool for growth, connection, and joy, no matter our age. That's it. That's the psychology of play. So your homework today is to have fun. That's your homework today. Play a game for me. And while you're having fun, I want you to practice your mindfulness. If you find yourself having fun, say to yourself, I'm having fun right now. I can't tell you just how important it is to get into the habit of pointing out your good moods to yourself. If you're happy, point it out to yourself. Tell yourself, I'm happy right now. If you're having fun, tell yourself, I'm having fun right now. I'm just slamming these iced coffees, aren't I? Alright, we got another question in the box here. Hold on, it's loading. Loading. Alright. Alrighty. I need your help. I'm just not attracted to my girlfriend anymore. She has gained a lot of weight. She also has an embarrassing, as it is to admit, given up on her hygiene. She doesn't want to shave anymore, which that's her choice, but I'm not sure that I like it. She also will only take one shower a week. On a good week, she just sits there and eats all day and lets the most rancid farts. I just can't take it anymore. I'm not even kidding. She never wants to have sex anymore either, but even if she did, I don't know if I'd even want to at this point. I tried to bring this up, but she just immediately shoots me down and says it's not a big deal. This makes me feel shallow, but it is also starting to make me feel depressed. I care about her, but the thought of being stuck in a relationship like this feels awful. What should I do? You know, letting your self hygiene go, and you know, maybe because the thing about this that like if you're in a relationship with somebody, you want to see them practicing good self-care. Like, I'm not even going to focus on the weight aspect of it because weight can come and weight can go. Like, if your partner gains a little bit of weight, who cares? It's not the end of the world. But if your partner isn't taking good care of themselves, if they're not cleaning themselves enough, if if their hygiene is poor, that is concerning, right? That's something that because you're noticing this shift in their behaviors. And so it's sounding like she might be dealing with some depression, perhaps. It's just, you're starting to feel depressed. It kind of sounds like she's starting to feel depressed too, perhaps. Because these types of things are often things that you see whenever a person is depressed. So how are we both doing mentally? If you're both feeling depressed, it's good to talk about it with the other person. If you're feeling depressed, you should be able to talk about it with your partner. If they're feeling depressed, they should be able to talk about it with you. The lack of communication isn't really helping. If you're trying to bring up your concerns, but the other person just shuts you down and says it's not a big deal, that's not really helpful. It's a big deal to you. And I would go so far as to say it should be a big deal because you're noticing a decline. You signed up for a relationship with a person who takes care of themselves. Who grooms themselves, has good hygiene, but now those things have started to slip. Hmm. You know, if it's something that we're having a hard time talking about, then it's not really something that we're going to be able to fix properly now, is it? Hmm. I understand, you know, being in a relationship and then kind of letting your standards slip a bit, right? It's like when you're in a relationship, it's normal. A lot of people will kind of let their standards slip. Maybe they'll gain a little bit of weight. Maybe they, won't wear as much cologne, or, they won't worry so much if they wear the same t shirt a few days in a row. It's like when you're in a relationship with somebody, you don't have to worry about impressing anybody. You don't have to worry about securing a new partner because you've already got a partner, and then your standards start to slip. If these are concerns for you, and okay, the way that I would encourage you to talk about it is to not focus on the weight gain. I wouldn't focus on the weight gain because that would make you seem kind of shallow. Like, I'm just being honest. Like saying hey, you gained weight, that's a problem. It's like that does come across as really shallow. What I would focus on is the hygiene. I would focus on the hygiene because that to me is indicating that there's something else going on. Like normally people don't just slip into like having really bad hygiene unless they're dealing with something. It isn't really something you just, especially if they weren't that way before. And so that's what I would focus on. And then in talking about good self-care, then that's when you could start, looking at, let's eat right. Let's get more proper amount of exercise, those sorts of things rather than focusing on the weight gain. Cause like, who knows? It's like you might like the thing about weight gain is like weight can be gained, weight can be lost. It's just, wouldn't focusing on the hygiene make her upset too? I mean, okay, well, at this point, it's like, if you're not able to confront this person about their hygiene, and when I say confront, I don't mean like you're yelling and screaming at them. I just mean like this is an issue and you're going to talk about it. But the thing about that is like, this is an issue. And like, we need to talk about it. So if it hurts your feelings, like, if I'm thinking of like the people that I used to work with whenever I worked in like a mental health office. You would occasionally get somebody who was just not good at their personal hygiene. And for their own wellness, you have to be the one to let them know. You have to be the one to tell them. Like, you're not doing them any favors by just allowing them to slip further down into, poorer and poorer hygiene standards. Because next thing you know, a shower once a week is going to become a shower once a month. There's not Grimoro is right. There's no perfect way to address it, but I would focus on the hygiene aspect instead of the weight aspect, because if you come at them and say, hey, you gained a bunch of weight, what's the problem? They're going to be like, oh my God, you're so shallow. You only care about what I look like. But from the hygiene aspect, it's like, hey, Is this person depressed? Is this their way of distancing themselves in the relationship even? You know, I would just say like, you know, maybe talking about like, hey, there's been some changes lately. I've got some concerns. I'd like to talk to him. I'd like to talk to you about them. Quiet quitting. It does kind of sound like quiet quitting. But yeah, mentioning weight is a great way to put somebody on the defense. Now, saying that somebody is stinky is also a way to put them on the defense. What I would say is perhaps something like this. Hey, I've just noticed that lately you don't seem to be, you know, looking out for your hygiene as much as you used to. So we want to make a connection that you right now isn't how you've always been. Like normally this was more of a priority for you, but things have changed. You know, you aren't taking as good of care of your hygiene as you used to. Is everything okay? Kind of approaching it that way from more of a like, I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just pointing out that I'm noticing this and I'm a little bit concerned. I would take a few more, you know, like if you are that person, like just having some empathy here and putting myself in this person's position, it's like getting told that you stink. I don't think people are really going to take that well, or they're going to be like, don't worry about it. So I would take a few opportunities to try to talk about it if they aren't interested initially. So it might take a few attempts to actually get anywhere in talking about it. But ultimately, it's something that you're going to have to talk about because this is becoming a problem for you. Like me personally, like weight is not really anything that I'm concerned about. Like weight comes and weight goes. It's like you're not happy with your weight. All right, let's go to the gym together. Like I'll go work out with you. I need to get rid of my love handles. Like like weight can be lost. That's not that big of a deal. But poor hygiene, I would say that's more of a concern. And so I guess I would just let him know, like, hey, I've noticed that you just aren't, it just feels like you might be having a harder time taking care of yourself. You know, you're not taking showers as often as you used to. I'm just, you know, is everything okay? Is something going on? You might have to ask a few times. You might have to be a little bit persistent. Because sometimes people will naturally become resistant or defensive. But I think just being open and honest about it and trying to be non-judgmental about it is what really can help. Like, yeah, I know I don't smell that good right now. It's like, well, what's going on? Do you want to, you know, do we need to pick you out some new soaps and body washes? Do you like... Because I feel like right now they're not taking good care of themselves. They're kind of neglecting their own self-care. And so I would approach it from that angle. I'm concerned because I've noticed that you've been neglecting your self-care. That, I think, is probably one of the nicest ways to put it. I am concerned because I've noticed that you have been neglecting your self-care. I would also take an effort to model good self-care for the person. You're like, hey, I'm gonna go take a shower. Would you like me to leave a towel out for you? You want to get in after me? Like, hey, I'm gonna take a shower. Do you want to go first so that I don't use up all the hot water? Oh, Snaily Bear, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Snaily Bear. Or do you want to join me? That's another good one, you know? If you've got room in the shower for two of you. Like, right now, our shower is too small, but, like, I would be doing group showers with Casey if we had a bigger shower. Our shower right now is... like, the one that we normally use. Like, the main shower is big enough, but, like... she'll be like, hey, you want to join? I'm like, girl, I can't fit in there with you. I'm like... it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. We got a single player shower. Have you ever had to tell someone their fart stinks so much it's becoming a problem? It's part of the romance. No, I feel like Will Ferrell in Elf when he's showering in the elf shower. That's how I feel like. There's not much romantic about that. I feel like... I mean, the fart thing, it's probably tied into the diet. If this person is gaining a lot of weight, then their diet is probably unhealthy. They're probably eating a lot of, unhealthy foods, and that makes for some unhealthy farts. The thing I've noticed about farts, though, is that when you start eating healthy foods, it also makes your farts disgusting. So I feel like farts are always going to be stinky. I don't think there's much we can do to have non-stinky farts. So I would say that, try to talk about it, try to go about it as nicely as you can. And if you're just continuously being shut down, it's like you don't really have much choice. It's like you kind of just be like, you're not happy here. It's like this isn't really sustainable. So I don't know. It's like if it gets to that point, maybe just letting them know, like as it is, like, hey, listen, you're not taking good enough care of yourself. Like, your hygiene's really slipping, you're barely showering. It's like, is something going on? Because this is just not gonna work. Like, so I would try to talk about it nicely and go about it that way and see where that gets you. But if it doesn't get you anywhere, that's when you want to be a little bit more direct. Just to see if this is something that this person is interested in fixing. And I feel like the whole weight thing aside, like we're not even going to worry about the weight gain. Don't even worry about that right now. You can lose weight, whatever. The issue here is the hygiene. You know, maybe they're aware that they've gained weight and that's making them a bit depressed and that's why their self-care is tanking, you know, but I feel like that might be a part of it. I feel like they just are not feeling that good about themselves, and when you don't feel that good about yourself, it's like, well, why bother, you know? But if you want to feel good about yourself, you have to start taking better care of yourself. So I would try to be friendly and polite and uplifting and encouraging about it and see where that gets you. But if they're not receptive, that's how it's going to be. This isn't really going to work. So yeah, promote healthy self-care is what I would say. Just try shower steamers. They are awesome. Oh yeah, get some stuff that could make showering more fun. You know, maybe that there's lots of ways you can try to go about it, but yeah, it's a stressful situation to be in. You know, it's like I don't think anybody's really especially happy where you're at right now in that relationship. So it's like, all right, what are we going to do about this? Like, if we're going to make this work, like, we need to start making some changes. Hi, Josh in chat. I'm sad and I got to vent for a bit. I apologize, as this is kind of long and all over the place. I'm trying to piece my sad, stressful thoughts together. All right, let's take a look. I'm 29 and I'm currently living with my mom and her boyfriend since May of 2024. My mom hasn't been in my life 90% of the time. She left when I was around 5 years old due to my father being abusive, although she just wasn't ready to be a mom nor wanting to be present in my life, and she's had many attempts to do so through my childhood, but yeah. And throughout my early adult years of me trying to establish a relationship with her, there's been many times where she has said very hurtful things towards me due to her past alcoholism or other issues. In 2015, she drunkenly called me a white supremacist even though we're black. Now, I just want to point out that people of color can be white supremacists. It's really confusing and messed up to see, but I have seen it happen. No, I'm not saying I'm not saying this is accurate or anything. I'm just saying it is a statistical anomaly. It does happen. You know, like Candace Owens or something. You know what I mean. It's always very confusing to me when you see a non-white white supremacist. It's like, really? It's like Clarence Thomas, you know, Supreme Court Justice. Wild. She drunkenly called me a white supremacist even though we're black. In 2016, during a family hangout, she drunkenly lost her shit towards me and tried to challenge me to a physical fight because I unknowingly said/did something that triggered her, even though I had zero idea that there was any issues. So it sounds like alcohol is a big problem here. It sounds like the things that she does when she's drunk is a really big issue and a really big divide in your relationship. This person has not been in your life that much. Are they fighting for that position? Like, why are they fighting you? If this person wants to be in your life, isn't there a way to go about that that doesn't, like, make you not want to be in their life? You know what I mean? Like, this is just something that you unfortunately see in, like, distant, absent parents. It's like, they'll come around and be like, I want to be a part of your life. It's like, really? Okay. And they're like, don't you know that you're a complete and utter failure? And you're like, what? Excuse me? And they're like, yeah, I want to be in your life because I want to treat you like shit. I want to be in your life so that I can tell you stuff that makes you feel bad. It's like, okay, no thank you. Yeah, this doesn't sound healthy the way that she's treating you. This isn't really acceptable and under any circumstances. I unknowingly said or did something that triggered her even though I had zero idea that there were any issues. Mind you, this was the first time seeing my mom in person since I was 5. Huh. Not really what you would expect from a parent who is just now seeing their child in, since they were little. You would think that that would be a much different turn of events. Your mom's definitely dealing with her own set of traumas. I can only imagine what her relationship with her parents must have been like, because she probably didn't have a good role model for what a parent-child relationship should be like, and that's why it's a completely foreign concept to her. She didn't have that role model to learn from, I'm assuming. I still feel very hurt about this today because she never formally apologized. Does she ever apologize? Is she always avoiding accountability? That's concerning. That's if that's the case, then that indicates some narcissistic abuse, Apologizing isn't hard. See, that's the thing. It's like if you've done something wrong, apologizing for it is not that difficult to do. But a lot of people have a hard time admitting wrongdoing. The reason why I moved in with her was because I had to leave an abusive relationship, and she took me in without hesitation, and I'm thankful for that because I can now establish a connection with my own mom after so many years. Yay! However, I cannot stand to live with her boyfriend. Excuse my language, but he's a bum piece of shit who is lazy, unemployed, and does not help with any household chores. Oh yeah, then, yeah, no, you're right on the money with that. When I first stepped into their apartment in May, it was extremely dirty, like borderline hoarders dirty. Oh, okay, there's a lot of underlying mental illness going on here. You don't get to that level of dirty without a lot of underlying trauma or mental illness, and so I'm hoping that both of them can get the help that they need. Both your mom and her boyfriend. Because that's not healthy. That's not healthy. Just letting your environment go so extremely is just a very clear sign that there's something going on there under the surface. And he's one of those Christians who is anti-LGBT and has used the F slur around me before, and even called Robbie P that. My mom and I love watching Robbie. Alright, fuck this guy. He said that to Robbie P. He said that to my son. Robbie P is my son, by the way. If you know who Robbie P is, you could say, we look alike. He could be my son. He said that to Robbie? I have personal beef with him now. He said that to Robbie. Uh-oh. I am now involved. He does not do anything to make money. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. Doesn't have a job. Doesn't make money. Doesn't clean the house. Why is he here? Why is he here? What is he here for? What is his purpose? You know, the whole like Christian aspect of it is like there are certain people who will take advantage of those traditional Christian virtues to just be lazy mooches. They will be like, I am the man of the house. I am the protector. I'm the guardian. I don't clean. It's like, all right, well then get a job. No. That's incredibly frustrating. This guy's a bum. This guy's a bum and your mom could do better. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. His typical day is hanging around at his friend's house to work or help with their household stuff. What? That's even more insulting. He goes and helps other people at their house but can't do anything at his house? That's kind of messed up. That's Even though me and my mom know damn well that he isn't doing anything besides hanging around, my mom doesn't even like this friend and has issues then with them. But it just seems like she lets this man do what he pleases. Help your mom find her backbone. All right? Help your mom find her backbone. Your mom, you said that she left, she left her relationship with your father because that relationship wasn't good, that relationship was abusive, and now she's found herself in another abusive relationship. Now she's found herself in another abusive relationship. Maybe it's not physically abusive. Maybe it's not, abusive in a traditional sense, but I would say that like willful non-participation is a form of abuse. This person is a parasite. They are sucking the life and the blood out of your mom. What do you do with a parasite? You pick it off of you and you flick it over there somewhere. What is it that makes people tolerate so much abuse? They don't want to be alone. Simple as that. They don't want to be alone. Or they feel sorry for the person. Sometimes the person will have a really good sob story, be like, oh yeah, my dad used to get drunk and beat the shit out of me, and now I can't clean my house. It's like, all right, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Can't have a job either? Come on. Excuses, excuses. That was kind of mean of me to say, but I stand by it. How can people like that not feel undignified from acting like that? See, here's the thing. They do. They do feel undignified, and they do feel insecure about it because they know that they're a lazy POS. They know it. But if you call them out on it, they'll get really defensive, and they'll get really angry. We need to help Mom find her backbone. Every day that she wastes with this lazy deadbeat boyfriend is a day that she could, you know, be spending with somebody who actually treats her right. Their relationship pisses me off because the boyfriend's family does not even like my mom, apparently. Some are even racist, and they have tried to break them up before, but yeah, I don't even know anymore. Get out of there, Mom. Come on, what are you doing? Get out of there. Neither my mom or her boyfriend are financially responsible people. They both rely on limited government assistance, even though her boyfriend is fully capable of working a job. Almost like they're playing the system. And they are also not smart with their spending habits. I'm working a full-time job, make my own money, and of course help out with cleaning and paying for things, but it just feels like I'm the only one putting in effort, like I'm a caretaker for two grown people. Well, you are. You know, you could actually get paid for that. You could actually get paid for that. If you have two people who are on government assistance and they're technically classified as unable to work, or they're classified as disabled, and you have to take time out of your day to help them do stuff, you could actually get financially compensated for that by the government. Just so you know, you could make a little bit extra money by cleaning up the house for them. I knew people who would do that. Maybe they were even disabled themselves and they had other friends who were disabled and they would help them clean or like help them do things like that, and they would actually get paid for it. Conservatives are projecting so much by talking about how lazy them liberals are. All right, I think we're both fucking lazy. If you like, I've met lazy ass leftists and I've met some lazy ass conservatives. Like, laziness exists across the political spectrum, I fear. I've met some grimy anarchists. I'm just like, all right, buddy. Get in the shower. Yesterday, she texted me asking to borrow money. Don't. Don't. Okay? Don't. Let me just say that. Don't. Don't cross that bridge. Don't enable that behavior. If you start allowing them to borrow money from you, it's never going to stop. You are just going to become another source of income for them. Don't be a giver hanging around with takers, okay? This isn't the first time, and her excuse is that she overspent on something non-bill related. Well, that's natural consequences. See, you're not the bad person here for saying no. I just want to point that out. You're not a bad person for telling them no. This person is dealing with natural consequences for their behaviors. You overspent on something non-bill related? Natural consequence. I got irritated and told her no simply because I'm tired of being asked for money. I don't think it's not really a good sign to be like, this person is just asking me for money. It's like they weren't around my entire life and they finally reconnect with me as an adult. And oh, now that I'm actually working a full-time job, now they want to be around me? Kind of makes you a little, They only want to hang around with me now that I've got money. I would say, questioner, you are valid in stepping away from this situation. Like, protect yourself here, okay? Like, you're dealing with some people who don't know how to take care of themselves, and you don't have to tank yourself on behalf of them. Like, you've got your shit together, and other people are going to take advantage of that, so don't allow them to do that. Especially if they're people who can't pick up after themselves. If you give a mouse a cookie, he's gonna want a glass of milk. Well, I guess I'm the only one here trying to save up money so we can move into a bigger place. I don't know how good of an idea that is. I would just really sit down and think about that. Like, mom, maybe. Like, mom, let's move out into a place together, but I don't feel comfortable letting him move in with us. You know, like, maybe her, but, like, why him? Like, why are we taking care of this man baby? Like, that's not your responsibility. You don't have to take care of him. He can take care of himself. He got time and energy to go hang out with his friends all day, but he doesn't have time to clean up after himself at home? Not your problem. I had to clock her about her spending habits lately because she just recently opened a credit card and she is already in debt for that, and also apparently she was short $150 on rent. It sounds like she needs assistance. Maybe she needs a case manager. Maybe she needs somebody that she can meet to help teach her life skills and financial planning. You know, she needs to connect with services, is what I would say. You know, there are services out there that can help people like this, and it's not all on you. It's not solely your burden. She tried to use the excuse of her having to pay all of the bills for the apartment, and I had to stop her because she knows damn well that I do help out with bills and food. Okay. You are the adult in the room, and it feels like you're dealing with some childish behavior. And just because her boyfriend doesn't even help out with that or anything does not give her the ability to hang that over my head or manipulate me. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It doesn't give her the permission to do that. It's like, why isn't he helping? Why isn't he contributing? There are 3 people here. Why isn't this one doing anything to help? Eventually I caved and gave her some money, but I'm just really over it with these two. Also, my mom is a community member for Casey, and I'm thankful I introduced her to the community, but unfortunately it's part of the financial stress because she's donating money she doesn't have and then crying to me about overdrafting her account. This person needs a life skills lesson. There are services out there that can help you to learn these things. Financial literacy, financial planning, cleaning up your house. This is what case managers are really good for. I would encourage you to help connect her to those types of services because she does need a little bit of extra support, it sounds like. You should not be overdrafting to donate to somebody online. That is just... like, do what you need to do to make sure that that doesn't happen. If you have to remove the credit card information from the device, if you have to, you know, remind them, you know, what's going on, it's like, I feel like your mom needs some extra support and some extra assistance to learn these life skills, and it's not all on you to teach her those skills. You know, you don't have to be the one who's parenting your own parent. So I would look into maybe trying to find her some connection to some community mental health resources, finding a case manager, learning some financial planning, learning those necessary life skills. Also, if she's this hard up for money, the last thing she needs to worry about is donating to a streamer, okay? If you're hard up for cash, the last thing you need to be worried about is giving your money away to a stranger on the internet, all right? I'm disappointed that my mom is like this and is dating a bum piece of shit and refuses to break up with him. Anytime I bring up getting our own apartment, she always doubles down on her not wanting to leave him because she needs him for his income or whatever, even though with my current income, we would be completely well off without that man. Recently, my ass cleaned their kitchen and bathroom because it's so fucking nasty. And I wanted to start the new year with a somewhat cleaner environment because living here has been very depressing for me. I never got a thank you or any appreciating from her boyfriend. My mom thanked me, of course, but still. Yeah, what? I mean, this guy, you explained the type of person he is. Why would he thank you? He's probably just like, finally, that woman doing her job, cleaning the house. You know, it was probably, he's like, why should I thank you? You're just doing what you're supposed to. It's like, is that the kind of guy he is? I'm getting that kind of vibe that he's just like, of course he's not going to say thank you. He expects that of you. I've kept telling her that if her boyfriend doesn't get his shit together by March, I refuse to get an apartment with him. And I got hit with a I cannot separate from him response again. Well, looks like I'm separating myself from both of y'all in March. I need a hug. All right, bring it in. You know, if you feel like your relationship with your mom is improving and you're able to become closer and you're able to be more of a support to her, that's good. But you also don't have to tolerate this guy because of that. It's like you don't have to allow that to perpetuate. You can let her know, like, hey, offer is on the table. If you want to come, find a place with me, we can find a way to make that work. We can make that happen. Let's get you out of there. But he can't be here. Just let her know. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. And it's just something that happens far too commonly. Just people getting stuck in these relationships with these complete deadbeats. In 2025, I wish every person who knows somebody or is somebody who's stuck in a relationship with a complete and utter parasite, I wish them a speedy freedom. I would just let her know the hard truth. It's like, Mom, this guy is ruining our relationship. Like, let her know that, like, him being around is making things stressful for you, and it makes you not want to be around her. So, you're not necessarily saying it's him or me, but it's like you kind of are, because it's like, Mom, if he's gonna be with you, doesn't he need to, like, earn that? It's like, why does he get a free pass? Like, why is he able to just be this way? Hey, Anonymous, thank you for gifting that sub. Why, thank you, Anonymous. Why, thank you, Anonymous. Alrighty, we got another question in the box. I think this will be the last one for today. I think this one will be the last one we do today. So let's take a look. Hi, Papa. This is a very quick overview because I don't want to take too much of your time. Oh, it's fine. I've been feeling really guilty about something that happened early in my relationship. The first to second month of the relationship, around February 2024. During that time, I was taking a biochemistry class, and a big part of a study group with boys and girls. I was so excited because I hadn't had friends in a while, and I treated everyone equally. But in hindsight, I realized that one guy and I were a bit too close to my liking now. I was close with the girls too, but this situation feels different, and it's not something I'd ever want to happen again. We all hung out during study sessions and joked around, but I didn't recognize at first that he was being flirtatious. He eventually met my boyfriend, which I think made him realize why I wasn't reciprocating. Before that, though, I struggled with standing up for myself. Once I let him give me a ride to my car from one part of the campus to the other. When we got to his car, he had received a parking ticket. He wanted to dispute a parking ticket, and I just went along. Then he bought food, and I ended up tagging along again, taking a piece of food, talking about music, which I found exciting at the time because I make music too. Looking back, I feel disgusted that I shared lunch with someone other than my boyfriend. I mean, if all you did was share food, it's like, it's just food. It's not like you were smooching. Also, you kind of got, roped into this. It's like... Even after he met my boyfriend, I still found it hard to stand up for myself. I once drove him to a boba break with the study group, and we tried each other's drinks. I felt gross immediately after that and distanced myself from him as much as I could. Well, hey, alright, look at it this way. Lesson learned. Lesson learned, alright? Lesson learned. Sometimes you make mistakes, and you know what? You felt bad about it, and that's how you should feel. You felt bad about doing it, and you changed your behavior because of it. So you learned your lesson. I kept studying with the group, but tried to avoid him after I realized how much it was for me. Yeah, it kind of sounds like he was trying to, like, there are guys out there who, like, they hear that you have a boyfriend, it's like, that doesn't deter them. Sometimes a guy hears that you have a boyfriend, he's like, okay, challenge accepted. I've talked to my boyfriend about some of this during it, but haven't gone into great detail because we always talked about growing from situations and he always had trust in me. I quickly realized I hated the situation, but the guilt has lingered. How do I let this go? I mean, you've changed your behaviors, right? You're not continuously doing these things that made you feel that guilt and shame. You've learned the lesson that came from those feelings. You made a mistake, and it was a relatively minor, simple mistake, okay? You didn't kiss anybody. You didn't, you weren't doing any of that. Just social situations that might have gotten a little too personal. And you recognized that was a problem, and you immediately took action to prevent it from going further. You did the right thing after making an innocent mistake. So how do I let this go? By forgiving yourself. It's okay to forgive yourself here. You made a mistake. You learned from it. You learned from it almost immediately, by the way. It's like this didn't continue to happen. You're like, well, you know, I went out with him and we got lunch, you know, and we kept doing that and that went on for months. It's like, no. This was like a one-time thing. And you learned from it immediately. Totally fine. Totally fine. You know, you had those feelings of regret, and that's how you know that you learned your lesson. It's like, I don't want to repeat it because it made me feel really bad. But you don't have to punish yourself forever for that, all right? You can look back and say, lesson learned, won't be doing that again, and now we can carry on. My question for you is this: do you plan on doing it again? If you plan on doing it again, then I would say yes, this should bother you. But if you don't plan on doing it again because you learned the lesson, then it's okay to forgive yourself. It's okay to move on from this. And besides what you did, I would say that it's not even really that bad. Not even really that bad, okay? So in all of this, you've learned something. You've learned how important maintaining a relationship is. You've learned how important not sending mixed signals is. You've learned from this, and it can make you a better partner. It can make you a better participant in your relationship. And you learned that because of the mistakes you made. You've learned things, and it's able to make you a better partner because of those mistakes. Those were important lessons to learn, and you learned them. Are there some good self-forgiveness rituals? Sometimes just saying it out loud is a great way to get started. I forgive myself. You know, if you recognize the error, and if you're changing the behavior, it's okay to forgive yourself. Hey, Anonymous, thank you for gifting that sub to a Leyland. Oh, Leyland's an OG. Leyland is an OG Brainiac. Leyland's been watching since I was working out of a box out in the park. Thank you, Anonymous. Thank you for that. Questioner, I just want to say that you feeling bad about it, you feeling guilty about it, that just shows to me that it's not something that you plan on repeating, okay? You don't plan on repeating it, then it's okay to forgive yourself. You know, you made a mistake. It wasn't even that big. It wasn't even that big of a mistake. If you ask me, it's like, sure, it's like, yeah, it wasn't great, but I would say there's far worse things that you could have done. So yeah, I would just say you're fine. Go ahead and forgive yourself. You know, forgive yourself. Allow yourself to, you know, let that go and realize that, you know, I don't need to punish myself forever for this. Not that you need my forgiveness, but I forgive you. Not that you need it, but I forgive you. Sometimes it's just nice to be heard. Sometimes it's nice to hear that. I feel like that's why a lot of people get really into like going to church, is because they get hooked on forgiveness. A lot of people will be showing up to church every week because they get forgiven. Like, oh yeah. Isn't that an interesting thing to think about? How a person can kind of become addicted to being forgiven. Especially in like a Catholic church where it's like all you need to do to be forgiven is confess. It's like, oh yeah, that's how they keep you coming back. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I left an upper decker in the toilet. Alrighty. Well, what's Casey up to? She's playing Stardew. I wonder if she'd want to play with me. She could host her farm as a co-op. So she could host it for co-op, and then I could potentially join her if that's what she wants to do. All right, everybody, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go finish making some dog food. I'm making dog food today, and I also gotta get some dinner started. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna go marinate some steak, and yeah, that's it. Thank you for the stream today. I feel so much more grounded and healthy. Oh, anytime. Anytime. It's my pleasure. All right, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. If you're not already on the Discord, be sure to check us out over there. We got a great supportive community there on the Discord. We'll be streaming again tomorrow. I'm gonna raid Casey. We're gonna play some Silent Hill together tonight, so we'll be doing a little bit more of that. We'll be playing Silent Hill. What else? What else? I can't think of anything. I think that's it. Thanks for the stream. Thank you! Thank you! Also, thank you for sending me gummies. That was awesome. I'll never forget. All right, everybody. See you all next time. Have a great night. Don't forget, your homework is to have fun. That's your homework. Go play something. An instrument, game, board game, tennis. Go have some fun. On me. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.